સિલ્વર બેલ્સ પબ્લિક સ્કૂલના ઉપક્રમે મહાન ફિલોસોફરોની ફિલસૂફી વિષય પર શાળાના વિદ્યાર્થીઓએ વક્તવ્ય આપ્યા હતા. દેશના ભવિષ્ય એવા આ વિદ્યાર્થીઓની ફિલોસોફીથી આમંત્રિતો અને વાલીઓએ તાળીઓના ગડગડાટ સાથે વિદ્યાર્થીઓને પ્રોત્સાહિત કર્યા હતા. શાળાના ટ્રસ્ટી શ્રી અમરજ્યોતિભા ગોહિલ, કેપ્ટન કિરીટસિંહજી ગોહિલ અને બાળકોના પરફોર્મન્સ માટે મહેનત લેનારા મિસ્ટર ફિલિપે બાળકોના પ્રેઝન્ટેશનને બિરદાવ્યું હતું.
The objective going into this event. Now, coming back to my question, what really is philosophy? I think that philosophy is the study of the fundamental nature of reality, being, existence, etc. In a broad sense, philosophy is an activity people undertake when they want to seek out the fundamental truths about themselves, the world in which they live, and the relationships which they have with the people inside the world. Morally good and bad, and what is morally right and wrong. So some questions related to it are, am I doing the right thing, etc.
So what was the philosophy that all these people are getting so upset about? In simple terms, Marx argues that an economic system based on private profit is inherently unstable and it will fall under the weight of its own contradictions. Provided by factory owners and don't own the product of their living, making them a little bit better than machines. Factory owners and other capitalists hold all the power because they control the mean of production, allowing them to amass a vast fortune, while the workers fall deeper into poverty. This is the main problem.
And these are the logical positivists I'm talking about. They had some pretty strong views on meaning and language because they thought much of the philosophical past had been nothing but obscurity, endless, ceaseless speculation about nothing. For instance, a philosopher, Hegel, once said, when the spirit speaks of itself, its perversion of reality and the notion.
People who seem unaffected by emotions are called stoics. But is being a stoic a good idea? Now imagine you've been stranded thousands of miles away from home with no money or possessions. To survive such a situation, you need to be more practical and less emotional. Such a man was Zeno of Citium, who developed the philosophy Stoicism.
I see the way you shine. Take my hands, buddy, and place them both in mine. You know you stopped me dead while I was passing by. Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh oh. Never done, I'll make you do it all. I see you walking by. Take my hands, buddy, and look me in my eyes. Just like a monkey, I've been dancing my whole life. I your side. You make me wanna cry. Now I better see you dance just one more time. Say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. Move for me, move for me, move for me, yeah, yeah. And then I'll make you do it all again. Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, 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 oh. I never seen anybody do that thing to you before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, yeah, yeah.
Importance of life is the love we share with our friends and family. Some others believe the existence of life in itself is what makes it worth living. But for nihilists, life is meaningless. All the actions, sufferings, good, bad, everything is just meaningless for them. The word why, a three-lettered monstrous code, anything and everything that feels like the rock of your foundation starts to become slippery. Let's take a glass cup metaphor for instance. Optimists say that we should see the glass as half full. Pessimists say that we should see the glass as half empty.
The movie Gladiator is considered to be one of the greatest movies of all time and has won 5 Oscars. On my screen is the picture of the hero of the movie, Maximus Decimus Meridius. But I'm not interested in him. My real hero is this man, Marcus Aurelius.
He is considered to be the last of the 5 great emperors who ruled Rome. He was a fantastic emperor. He won many wars. But what was special about him was how he lived his life.
Socrates, one of the founding fathers of the Western philosophical thought, was on trial. Many Athenians believed that he was a dangerous enemy of the state, accusing the philosopher of corrupting the youth, and was eventually sentenced to death. But before this happens, I would like to share with you something about Socrates. He was born in Athens and ancient Greece. Philosophers tend to think they know a lot about the world, but of him, he actually didn't think he knew anything at all. During his time, there were philosophers who were considered wise, but during his life, he found that many people who appear or claim to be wise are not actually wise at all.
Down tracks towards 5 workers. If you don't do anything, you would run over them and you would definitely kill them. Now, you have no other option except one. You can turn the steering wheel and switch tracks, and on the other track, you see a single worker working. And if you do that, the single worker would die. Raise your hands if you would do that. So I can see that most of the people would kill that single worker to save the 5. Now let's imagine the second version of this case. Now you are an observer over the bridge and you see a train with no brakes speeding down towards 5 workers. Now you see a fat man leaning over the bridge and you can push him and he would fall and stop the train. But he would die by the impact of that. Raise your hands if you would do that to save the 5 workers.
someone who hasn't asked themselves the big questions. What is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? Why do I even exist? For thousands of years, these questions were happily answered by the belief your purpose in life was assigned prior to your creation. The existentialists, however, disagreed. Existentialism is the philosophical belief
Us have free will, but we are just not able to express it properly because we think that it just allows us to take decisions however we like to. The history of philosophy has been dominated by the competing arguments revolving around the ideas of free will and determinism.
Born into the world, he is responsible for everything he does.
Jean-Paul Sartre is one of the most important philosophers of all time. Despite his work garnering considerable flack over the years, his theories on existentialism and freedom cement his place among the most important Western philosophers of the 20th century and beyond.
Dramas. The unscrupulous schemer, for whom the ends always justifies the means, has become a familiar character type we love to hate. We are often appalled by how sly and dishonest many politicians are, but we shouldn't be. In moods like this, we need to read and remember the works of Niccolo Machiavelli.
It's a series of footnotes to Plato. He created the first Western university and was teacher to ancient Greece's greatest minds, including Aristotle. But even one of the founders of philosophy was imperfect. Along with his great ideas, Plato had a few that haven't exactly stood the test of time. So here are brief rundowns of few of his best and worst ideas.
To introduce you with such an immortal philosopher, and his name is Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche was a German philosopher, poet, composer, and a philologist. His teachings inspired everyone who dreamt of becoming a genius. According to him, if you do not cultivate your inner genius, you have lived a life of laziness.
How can all of you be so sure that you are actually physically sitting here and not merely imagining this? But hang on. Surely 2 plus 3 equals 5. Even in a dream. Descartes, a mathematician, wouldn't get that wrong, would he? Even here, Descartes realized he couldn't claim absolute certainty. For what if an evil demon was in control of his thoughts, manipulating them so that every time he added numbers together, he made a basic error?